Welcome and good evening. Would like to open the Cerritos Planning Commission meeting for May 1st, 2024 at 7 p.m. So I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll ask Commissioner Gandhi to lead us in that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we do roll call, please?
The power button underneath it.
Yes, there you go.
Yes, good evening, Vice Chair and members of the Planning Commission. We'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Byrd? Present. Commissioner Gandhi?
Present.
Commissioner Polito?
Present.
Vice Chair Gilheis?
Present.
Chair Javeri? Noted absent for the record.
Okay, at this point, we will open public comments, and this section's reserved for comments that are related to items not listed on the agenda, but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Comments are limited to 5 minutes per person. Public comments on the agenda items will be taken at this time, at the time the item is before the commission. Do we have anyone that would like to speak? Seeing no one come to the podium, we'll close the public comments. The next item on the agenda is to approve the Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024, 7 p.m. Planning Commission regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second the motion, and I know there was only two of us. It was DJ, and he's not here tonight.
That is correct, but despite the fact that Commissioner Byrd, you weren't at the meeting, if you did review the meeting minutes, you can make a vote on the minutes this evening, or you can abstain. It's at your pleasure. Okay, so I do have a motion by Commissioner Polito and a second by Vice Chair Gilheis. At this time, I will go ahead and start the vote. The electronic voting has been open. All those votes placed, motion carries 3-0 to 1 with Commissioner Gandhi abstain. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the public hearing section. We're going to review item 6A. It's review and consideration to waive the full reading of and adopt a resolution of the Cerritos Planning Commission approving Precise Plan 2024-3.
Yes, good evening, members of the Planning Commission. As mentioned, item 6A this evening is consideration of Precise Plan 2024-3. It's a proposal to construct a first floor addition and a new second floor to an existing single-family home. This presentation this evening will be given by Associate Planner Matrey Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Good evening, Chair and members of the Cerritos Planning Commission. The property owners at 13049 Caravelle Street are proposing to construct a 412 square foot first floor addition and a new 1,288 square foot second floor to an existing residence. For details of this project, I would like to direct your attention to the screen for a presentation. This is an aerial photo of the subject property, which is generally located east of Shoemaker Avenue and north of South Street. This is an enlarged aerial view that shows the details of the property. The property is bordered on the north and east by single-family homes. The property is bordered on the west by Sabrina Avenue and on the south by Caravelle Street, across from which are also single-family homes. This is a view of the front of the existing one-story home looking north from Caravelle Street. Here you can see the existing driveway has been extended to the east, resulting in an existing side landscape planter that is less than 3 feet in width. In addition, the landscaping in the parkway area adjacent to the east side of the driveway apron has also been removed and replaced with bricks, both in violation of the Cerritos Municipal Code. As a result, project-specific condition of approval 42 has been added to require the removal of the existing concrete and brick materials in these areas and to establish a minimum 3-foot wide landscape planter on the eastern property line, as well as to restore the landscaping in the parkway area. This is a view of the side yard of the subject property looking east from Sabrina Avenue. Here you can see the existing unpermitted covered patio, which will be removed as part of the proposed project. This is the proposed site plan. As mentioned, the applicants are proposing to construct a 412 square foot first floor addition and a new 1,288 square foot second floor. As proposed, the project meets all the setback and lot coverage requirements. This is the adjacent neighbor plan. The home to the north of the subject property is a single-story residence. The home to the east of the subject property is a 2-story residence with an existing second-floor window that will align with the proposed second-floor window of the subject property. However, this existing window is located on the second floor of the adjacent property is a bathroom window with obscured glass and a sill height of above 5 feet. Therefore, any possible privacy issues arising from the window placement have been mitigated through the project design and the existing window conditions. This is the proposed first floor plan. The first floor will be expanded and reconfigured to have an open concept. When completed, the first floor will include a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, a bedroom with a bathroom, and a powder room. The new second floor will include a master bedroom with bathroom and a walk-in closet, 2 additional bedrooms with bathrooms, a laundry room, and a loft. This is the proposed front elevation. Upon completion, the residence will be finished with smooth white stucco, blue-gray colored trim. The front door and garage will be painted a dark gray color to add contrast to the front of the residence. In addition, the front elevation will include decorative stone veneer, which will wrap around the side elevation to the areas that are publicly visible. This is the rear elevation. The roof of the residence will be covered with an estate gray colored asphalt composition shingle. All windows and doors will be detailed with minimum 4-inch wide stucco trim. This is the east elevation. As you can see in this slide, an architectural stucco band has been added to break up the massing of the home. This is the west elevation, which features the same architectural enhancement found on the other elevations. The applicant is in the audience. My apologies. The architect has prepared a color palette and materials board for the Planning Commission's review, which is provided for you at the dais. All exterior colors and materials will be subject to the approval of the Department of Community Development to ensure that these elements complement the entire house and the surrounding homes. This concludes the PowerPoint presentation. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve Precise Plan 2024-3, subject to all the conditions of approval contained in the report. This project is categorically exempt from SEQA review. To date, staff has not received any comments as a result of the public hearing notice. Tonight, the developer and homeowner are in the audience, and at this time, staff is available to answer any questions that the Planning Commission may have. Thank you.
Thank you for the report. Do any of the commissioners have questions or comments at this point?
I have one.
Okay.
Is there a regulation for overhangs on doors, like a front door? Is there a minimum?
Specifically, no, there's no specific regulations for an overhang on the door. However, the municipal code does regulate overhangs in terms of lot coverage in the city of Cerritos. So anything that is over 30 inches is calculated as part of the overhang when it's calculated for the lot coverage and or floor area ratio.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you. So on Exhibit 4, you mentioned, Mr. Anthony, that I guess that area with the bricks has to be replaced or removed. So it's just going to be removed and then replaced with landscaping or concrete or?
It has to be replaced with organic plant material.
And then the area by the driveway also has to have the same.
Yes, this area right in here, the municipal code requires a minimum of 3 feet from this property line toward the driveway to have a landscape planter, which in turn will have the maximum width of this driveway can only be 25 feet. And at this point in time, as it configured, it does not meet the code requirements.
Thank you. And then on Exhibit 5, you mentioned there's the patio. It's going to be removed, but I noticed on the plans that there's going to be a patio rebuilt. So is that going to be in the same location or?
No, the new patio is in the rear yard. As you can see in the new patio is in this area. The old patio was here.
Great. And then on Exhibit 11, what are those those 3 rectangular things on the front of the house? Yeah.
This?
Yeah.
Those are roof vents
Okay.
or attic vents.
Okay. Great. And then on Exhibit 12, those sliding doors, are those just sliding doors or like the accordion style?
Those are the accordion style doors.
Thank you. That's it.
I just had a question regarding, if you put up the front of the house,
The existing or the new?
the existing, please. The bricks that are covering up, looks like it's both the houses have the bricks covered up, right?
Yes.
And so this particular owner is going to be doing the construction. So is he responsible for removing the whole brick stuff?
He's only going to be responsible for this area, on his property.
So just his part of the property?
Yes.
He doesn't have to remove the whole?
No.
Okay, cool, thank you. That's it.
Okay, so the commissioner at the far end, Gloria, thank you. You asked all my questions. So I was like, she even asked my door question. But that's good. Thank you. Those are good questions. So I don't have any further questions past, I believe the size of the garage is not changing.
No, it is not.
Okay, because I was concerned about taking some of that cement away and the garage getting bigger, but the garage is staying the size it is, so the driveway will still be fine. Okay, that's all the questions I have. So I think we should open it up for public comments at this point in time. So if anybody would like to come forward and make some public comments regarding this agenda item, now would be the time to do it. Okay, seeing that no one has approached the podium, we will close the public comments on this agenda item and we'll entertain motions.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay,
Second.
so I believe we have a motion put forward and a second to approve the Precise Plan 2024-3. A proposal by the residential property owners to construct a first floor addition and a new second floor to an existing one-story residence at 13049 Caravel Street, Cerritos. The subject property is zoned single family. Can we,
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair. The motion was made by Commissioner Gandhi, a second by Commissioner Byrd. At this point, I'll activate the electronic voting. Go ahead and place your votes. All votes placed. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you.
great, thank you. You said the homeowners were here? Congratulations. Looks like beautiful plans. I love those back doors with the accordions. That's why I ask about them every time. So you're welcome. Okay, so we're going to move on to item 6B. That's the review and consideration to waive the full reading of and adopt a resolution of the Cerritos Planning Commission recommending approval of conditional use permit 2003-1E 2024 amendment. A request by property owner Valley Christian School System to permit a high school stadium under Phase 4 of the campus master plan of development for the subject properties located on Artesia Boulevard. That's in Cerritos. Okay, who will be giving us this?
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair. We have a very exciting proposal before you this evening. Valley Christian Schools has submitted a request to the city for an amendment to their existing conditional use permit as well as the precise plan. The proposal entails the remodel of the private school stadium and other related improvements. This presentation this evening will be provided by Senior Planner Jeremy Lowe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aguila. Good evening, Vice Chair and Planning Commissioners. Valley Christian School System is requesting approval of Conditional Use Permit 2003-1 E 2024 Amendment to permit a high school stadium use and Precise Plan 2003-1 E 2024 Amendment to remodel an existing high school stadium and related site improvements at the Valley Christian Schools campus located at 10818 Artesia Boulevard and 17700 Dumont Avenue. In addition, the applicant is also requesting amendments to the Valley Christian Campus Master Plan of Development. At this time, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen for details of the proposed project. The subject property is located just west of the Interstate 605 freeway between Artesia Boulevard to the south and 183rd Street to the south. Artesia Boulevard to the north, excuse me. The property is zoned open space. This is an enlarged aerial view of the property or portions of the property with zoning information removed to more clearly show the existing site. The property was originally entitled and developed in 2003, with the existing configuration resulting from successive amendments to the original conditional use permit and precise plan entitlements. The following slides show the existing conditions of the subject property. Photo 1 on the top right is a view of the subject property's western property line, looking south along Dumont Avenue. Photo 2 on the bottom right is a view within the subject property looking southwest at the existing grandstand bleachers, standing in the running track. Here, photo 1 on the top right is a view within the subject property looking north at the grandstand. And photo 2 on the bottom right is an aerial view of the subject property showing the existing stadium area. This is the existing site plan. The main campus parcel is currently developed with 12 high school buildings, 4 junior high school buildings, several athletic fields, several sports courts, a stadium, and there's parking in a couple locations throughout. To the east of the main campus parcel is the student and bus parking lot, which is also developed with one building. Both parcels are enclosed by a combination of chain link and ornamental wrought iron fencing. Before you this evening is consideration of Conditional Use Permit 2003-1 E 2024 Amendment to permit a stadium use. Per the Cerritos Municipal Code, Section 22, 30, 350, private schools are a conditionally permitted use on properties zoned open space. Section 22, 30, 400 identifies accessory uses as accessory structures and uses necessary and incidental to the use of the property. The existing stadium directly supports the private school use and therefore is a conditionally permitted accessory use which conforms with the original conditional use permit for the school. In addition to the conditional use permit amendment, the applicant is also requesting an amendment to their precise plan. And it's a proposal to remodel the existing stadium by replacing the existing grandstand bleachers with new grandstand bleachers of the same capacity of 1,065 persons, to replace the existing natural turf field with a synthetic turf material, to replace the existing decomposed granite running track surface with a rubberized surface, to upgrade the existing stadium light fixtures, to replace existing chain link fencing with some wrought iron fencing and entry gates, and to construct a small entry plaza with a main entry gate to the stadium, as well as some landscaping improvements. Additionally, the applicant is requesting to modify the campus master plan of development to not limit future developments to specific phases. This change would allow for greater flexibility in building out the campus in the future. So here is a proposed site plan. This slide focuses on just the improvements, not the entire site. And you can see that the stadium will be remodeled with new grandstand bleachers, but in the same footprint and with the same capacity as existing. There's also going to be, again, replacement of the natural turf field with synthetic turf. There's going to be a rubberized track surface throughout. They're going to upgrade stadium lighting, which is called out in a couple locations on the plans. And then they're going to replace existing chain link fencing along Dumont Avenue with wrought iron fencing to match existing throughout this property, and to create a small entry plaza here, as previously mentioned, with a main gate right here where my cursor is. The entry plaza will include plants, seat walls, a hall of fame, and other improvements. The proposed stadium remodel and associated improvements meet all setback and development standards of the open space zone. As required by the Cerritos Municipal Code, a pedestrian circulation plan was submitted by the applicant for the proposed project. You can see that here. Staff has reviewed the proposed pedestrian circulation plan and finds that the proposed plan will maintain existing foot traffic safety patterns to access the stadium, and vehicular access will be maintained. This is the proposed conceptual landscape plan. As proposed, forest pansy eastern red buds will be planted on the site and along Dumont Avenue with various ground covers and shrubs. And then Japanese crepe myrtle trees will be planted within the new entry plaza area here. Here's some details of the proposed wrought iron fencing, wrought iron gates, and the main entry gate here, saying Valley Christian Stadium. There's also going to be a wall for their Hall of Fame, which will also be within the entry plaza. The project architect has provided several renderings to show how the stadium and other improvements will look upon completion. This is a perspective rendering looking northwest directly at the new grandstand bleachers. This is a perspective rendering looking northwest from further away and higher up, showing all of the proposed improvements. This is a perspective rendering looking southeast, showing the entry plaza with the stadium in the background. This is a closer view looking southeast, showing the new main entry gateway with the stadium in the background just beyond. A notice of a public hearing regarding this item was mailed to owners of property within 500 feet of the subject property on April 19th, 2024, which is at least 10 days prior to the public hearing this evening. As required by the Cerritos Municipal Code, notices were also posted at the city's 4 designated posting boards on April 19th, 2024 as well. In addition, the staff report and all exhibits were posted on the city's website. This project has been evaluated in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, and the city's environmental guidelines. Staff has determined that the proposed project is exempt from CEQA review pursuant to sections 15301, existing facilities, and 15302, replacement or reconstruction, as noted in the state CEQA guidelines, which is further explained on pages 8 and 9 of the agenda report and on this slide. Additionally, an environmental review was conducted when the project was originally entitled in 2003, and a mitigated negative declaration was adopted and certified. The current proposal and future improvements conform to the original campus master plan and development, and so the original environmental review still applies. In fact, the original environmental review based the school's impacts on there being 780 students on the premises, and current plans call for only 600 students, and so there should actually be a net reduction in impact. This concludes the details of the proposed project, as well as the CEQA analysis. Before you this evening, again, is consideration of Conditional Use Permit 2003-1, E 2024 Amendment to permit the stadium use, and Precise Plan 2003-1, E 2024 Amendment to remodel the existing high school stadium and to complete other related site improvements and to amend the previously approved campus master plan of development. At this time, it is recommended that the Planning Commission review and discuss the information provided, conduct a public hearing, and adopt resolutions recommending approval of Conditional Use Permit 2003-1, E 2024 Amendment, and Precise Plan 2003-1, E 2024 Amendment by the City Council. This ends my PowerPoint presentation. No public comments are received from the public hearing notices. I would be happy to answer any questions at this time, and the project applicants are in the audience tonight and can answer any questions if needed. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Okay, at this point in time, I'd like to open it for discussion amongst the commission. So the commissioners, do you guys have questions?
I would have a question for the representatives, but their time will come. Huh?
So I can open the public comments now. Why don't we'll go through the.
Yeah, let's wait.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Polito.
Thank you. So I had a question about, I guess, the phases. So then from what I understand, there were amendments made from the originally approved plan by the City Council from February 2003. And then so there were 3 different phases since then. So there's approval of the plan, but has construction taken place and the project been completed on those phases with the exception of the gym?
Yeah, so phase 3 was the last entitlement for this project site, which was done in 2017. That included the gymnasium and 3 accessory structures. The gym, however, has not been constructed. So they did build 3 accessory structures, but not the gym. The amendment to the campus master plan of development that's requested this evening would basically remove phasing from the future development so that they can just come before the Planning Commission and City Council whenever they're ready with those improvements.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, I passed by the site, and this is going to be a real improvement and draw a lot of pride for the school. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the plans and with the marker and the gate. It's really, really exciting. So I congratulate the school on this project. The other thing was with with the stadium, if it's approved by the Plan Commission, the City Council, when would construction begin, and when is the project going to be completed?
So the applicant might be able to answer that better, but they were shooting to complete by, I believe, October of this year. I'm not sure if that's correct. August of this year.
Wow, that's
Before football season,
great.
right?
That is correct.
Got it. Great. Okay. And then, thank you for that. And then lastly, my last question is about parking. So would the parking remain the same, or would there be additional parking to accommodate this project?
So actually, with this project, they're actually adding 8 parking spots, but other than that, no additional parking is proposed at this time. In future phases, there will be 82 additional parking spaces, but that'll be, again, whenever the applicants are ready for that phase.
Thank you. That's all my questions, Vice Chair.
Commissioner Gandhi, go ahead.
So following up on the parking issue, and so if I understand it correctly, the Dumont Street will split up the parking area and then the stadium, correct? According to the drawings here?
The parking lot across Dumont Avenue is existing. That was done previously.
Correct. So there's a parking lot there where, is there additional parking in that area besides that?
No, so I can actually go back to the site plan. So here, there's this building P, existing building P right here. They're adding basically some parking spots here and reconfiguring some parking here, but there's basically going to be a net increase of, I believe, 8 parking spaces.
So the large majority of the parking is across the street.
Correct. This might be, visitor or staff parking, but again, the applicant can speak to that.
Okay. I'm not quite sure if this question, let me just ask it. So most of the people will be crossing the street once the game is over or before the game begins to cross into the stadium, correct?
That would be correct if they're, parking in the student lot.
Yeah. Has there ever been a plan where there is a walkway built over ground? So something like a walk bridge that would allow the pedestrians to cross over without having to cross the street?
That doesn't appear to be on the campus master plan of development, and I didn't see it on any previous campus master plans. So at this point, I would say there is no plan for that.
If I may also add, Commissioner Gandhi, as mentioned during the PowerPoint and what's on the slide for you is a pedestrian circulation plan prepared by the project applicant identifying sufficient in terms of the applicant and appropriate pedestrian circulation to the stadium from the parking lot across Dumont Avenue.
Yeah. So when I started my term on the Planning Commission, we were, I think one of my first things that came up was the Hyundai or whatever the car thing was, where they were storing cars and then they were moving it through Dumont or Crusader to the dealership. And at that time, I also felt that a pedestrian accident is a potential. And so my concern still remains in terms of the pedestrian crossing there. I know, there's no other alternative, but I was hoping that some alternative was thought of or considered, or I'm not quite sure if it's even possible. Because I think there is a pedestrian bridge of some sort. You do not have to cross the street. So just that one of a question. And I guess when the applicant is here, I'll ask the same question of them. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. I want to understand the phases. So how many total phases are there currently? Because this is phase 4.
Correct. So under the current plan, or what was previously planned, was 6 phases. But again, with this request to modify that, they've basically left future development to undeterminate numbers of phases.
Okay, so 6 phases, and did it have like a period of performance for all of the phases? Like it was going to start in 2003 and end in 2025? I'm just trying to understand the details.
I'll go ahead and answer that question, Commissioner Gilheis. So in 2017, when they amended it last, I was the project planner on that one. And as Jeremy mentioned, there was 6 phases. So in each of those phases, it was just a group of work that they intended to do at one time per each phase. However, there was never a time frame or anything set in the phases. It was just it was their plan. That they would do this phase, and then after they got that done, they would go to the next phase. And it's all fundraising driven,
Sure.
and that's so they keep it. So, but what they have done for this proposal, which I think is probably a good idea, is they have kept all of the things in the 6 phases that were in the 2017, and they're still remaining, and they're still on the wish list of what they want to accomplish as far as the master plan. However, they're going to when they come to phase 5, which would be the next one, they're going to pick which ones in that list that they envisioned for the whole 6 phases and make that the next phase. So what had happened when we did phase 3 is they were only able to do the outbuildings, and for one reason or another, they weren't able to do the gym building. And so one of the reasons why we needed the master plan to be redone is because it was still in the phase and they were moving to the next phase, and they hadn't done the one before. So we tried to get it all in line so that all the phases are correct. At least until this point.
Yeah, no, so that's good, because I was going to ask a couple more questions about that. You answered it. So my question would be, do we know how many items total are in the master plan? Is there 30, 100?
No, there's a finite list in the staff report. What page is that on, Jeremy? And these were the same list of items that were taken in 2017 when we did the last master plan update. Let's see.
So while you're looking for that, as it sets now, they would
Page
if we,
5.
Okay, if we didn't change, they would lose the ability to update the gym or redo something with the gym if we don't make this change that we're looking at tonight.
What we're doing is we're just tidying things up, I would say. It would be like just getting the master plans in the right, because they redid the master plan and they showed the previous in their presentation package on the buildings that were done, but the gym's not in it anymore. So they basically cleaned up their progression up until this point. And I think prudently they have decided, well, maybe we shouldn't like already designate what our phases are be. We're going to say the remaining things will be in future phases that are undetermined. And then when they, as a body, decide which ones they want to do next, they can come to the city with that phase, which is in the list, and then that will be phase 5. And then, they could even do more than the original 6 phases in that way, so that they don't have to keep coming and redoing or remodeling the master plan because they didn't do what they had set to do,
Okay, so let's just, for sake of argument, there's 20 items, and we know what those 20 items are based on the list, and then they decide something new that's not on that list. They still have to come before the council, the commission, and suggest it. It doesn't matter if it's in the master plan or not, right? Because them bringing it forward kind of meets the requirement of discussing it with the planning commission.
it's kind of a complicated question and a complicated answer. Because as Jeremy mentioned, in 2003, when they first came up with the master plan, the school had been around for a long time. But in 2003, they came up with the master plan of development for the campus and how they wanted to lay it out throughout the years and what their goals were for future development. So at that time, they did a full mitigated negative declaration, environmental review, traffic studies. They looked
Right.
at all the things that they want to do. We looked at all the parking needs, and we figured out how much parking at the total build out they would need. They looked at all of that. And so if they came with something that was minor that which we wouldn't feel that impacted that environmental review from 2003, then it's something we could certainly consider. But it just depends upon what it is, if it affects the original environmental review.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I have a couple more questions, but I think it's more appropriate to speak to the applicants. So at this point in time, I'll open for public comments, ask you to step to the podium, state your name for the record, and we'll ask you some questions because I know a few of us have some questions.
My name is Troy Stahl. I'm the superintendent at Valley Christian Schools, and delighted to be here and answer any questions you might have. I have a couple comments, but I'll wait because they might be covered in your questions.
Okay. Just for clarity, there's a high school there and a middle school?
Yeah, so if you look at that master plan up there, the high school building,
I wasn't sure when I went by.
yeah, I would go back to the one that shows the stadium so they can see where, yeah, right there. Everything to the left of that, on that screen, is high school building, business office, central office, you would say. Everything to the right of that stadium, that kind of H-looking building and a couple of those other buildings, that's all middle school. So it has its own address for its purposes, but by all practicality, we're on the same plot of land.
Sure.
All the way from, I don't know, is that 183rd over to Artesia, that between Crusader and Dumont,
Yeah.
that's all Valley Christian. Yep.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner Byrd, I think you had questions?
Yeah, just a comment and a couple of questions. You know, I went to school at Bellflower High School, and Valley Christian School was always one of the most respected schools, competitive schools in the area. And so my hat goes off to you guys. So do you, these was all done by donations? Because
It's all private donation.
Right, because you're getting nothing from the county or the city,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yep.
As an athlete, I wonder if there's any governing body that determines what the surface of that track needs to be. Because I would love to have run on rubber,
Yeah.
right, versus granite.
Yeah.
Can you answer that one?
Yeah, there is a standard. High School Federation in the United States has a standard. California has a standard, and our project manager Doug can speak to that. He's done hundreds of fields and tracks in California, and there is definitely a standard. We have the old brick dust. You probably are familiar with that.
Yeah.
And so we're really excited to get an actual track surface that's better on the athlete's legs and shin splints and all that. But definitely there's a standard, and we're putting in a very high quality, I believe similar to the one they put in at Gar High School, if you've seen that one. Yep, same surface. Yep.
Thank you.
Probably not blue though.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Commissioner Polito.
Yes, I had another question. So tonight we're approving amendment for the upgrades to the stadium. And then I noticed for one of the future projects, it includes a construction of new building K, stadium restrooms, concession, and storage building. So I guess the approval for that would be at a future meeting, I assume? Okay, and then, so would that, I guess after the approval, would that be also coincide with the August 2024 date?
That's not a
around
part
that
of
time?
this project.
Okay.
I think, to be clear, we're not building a concession or
Oh, okay.
storage, anything related to this project.
As part of this phase. It's in the
Right,
master plan of development for a future phase. that would
Okay.
be subject to
Okay.
consideration by the planning commission and the council in the future.
Thank
But
you.
you said something about bathrooms.
Yeah,
that.
because it
So-
says, yeah, constructed a new building K, which, so the existing bathrooms, I guess, would be in use until,
So you have bathrooms
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
They're staying. They're not getting
Yeah.
the upgrade.
Correct.
Or a
There's
new
a
spot.
you can see
Perfect.
just to the left of those home bleachers right there. That's an existing building. There's a weight room in there, men's and women's restroom with several urinals in each, and then concession is just a little bit east of that in a separate building. So we're not touching any of that. We're not increasing capacity either at the stadium. So we're not anticipating more people, if you will, for additional restrooms. Yeah, someday if we ever are able to build that building, we probably would do that right where that building is, knock that down, build a new one, and then obviously, upgrade all of our facilities related to restrooms and concession. Yep.
Okay. Did you have questions?
So by the way, this project looks really phenomenal, wonderful, and congratulations on the plan and the thing. As I mentioned earlier, and one of the other car dealer project that we approved on your street, and at
Yep.
that time, one of the concerns I always have, and it's because my wife teaches here in town, and when I go to her school, I see these kids running right across the street,
Yeah.
which they're not supposed to. But it scares me when I see that happening because there's cars going back and forth. And so my question simply was, I know you have a mitigation plan for whatever the people that are going to be there, but have you considered ever trying to come up with some way so that the kids don't have to run across the street or cross the street, anything like that?
Yeah. We've not considered a walking bridge, per your earlier comment, but anytime we have significant foot traffic coming across from the student parking lot, whether it be school before, after, school gets in, school gets out, event at night, a concert, a game, any of that, we have staff members who are crossing guards to make sure that happens. Our middle school does not have that issue, but our high school does because the student parking lot is on the west side of Dumont there. And so we always have a staff member there. This year we added a security member, chief of security we call him. He's out there every morning as well. We too have the same concern long term, not because our kids are crossing, just we have maintained communication with like the Jaguar dealer, the Volkswagen dealer, all those on our side of the auto mall, just to remind them that when they test drive cars, when cars are repaired and their mechanics want to check them, we respectfully ask them not to use that street. And so we do battle a little bit with that, and we've expressed that with the dealers, and they respond favorably. But we have seen a little increase in that traffic because Kia, bought that building at the end of that street. And so we've had a couple meetings with them, just really, really strongly encouraging them not to drive up and down there. They're supposed to go around the other way to Artesia to get to that building and not use Dumont and 183rd at all to avoid such a potential tragedy.
So may I ask something of our staff? Didn't we put some stipulations, some criteria in with the Kia thing back when we did that that said that when they were supposed to do it, when they could have all this traffic there? You think that
I think
got changed?
You did.
Probably the council changed it.
No.
Or did we? We didn't.
No,
change it.
it's in the resolution.
If I may, both the Kia of Cerritos dealership and the building, what is that to the north, as well as the Jaguar dealership, those dealers are very much aware that they are not to test drive on Dumont or Crusader, as well as their employees are not to park along those streets as well. And I do want to note, not the building to the north, but the Kia of Cerritos dealership, as well as the Jaguar dealership, are city-owned properties that are leased to those respective dealers. And so any notification of concern by either Valley Christian or even the industrial property owners on Crusader of these problems, we do have some more leverage because, like I said, they are city-owned properties to kindly remind the management of those dealers to reinforce with their employees. Like any job, there is a lot of turnover of employees, and so it's just a continuous cycle. But through consistent reminding of the management teams, you know, we always encourage everyone in that area to be good neighbors, and it's kind of cyclical. We remind them they're good, and then we remind them again, and then they get good again, and through the partnership with Valley Christian that they have with Jaguar and Kia, as well as with the city, it's just, if we're all being good neighbors together, we try to mitigate that as best as we can.
Thank you for that information. I realize that's not part of what's on the agenda tonight, but I think it's important to restate. When we do these kind of things, we put criteria out there, we put direction out there. And if it's not happening, they come back to City Hall
me a
and they
call.
work with you guys and take care of it.
Yes, absolutely. Give me a
thank
call.
you for that.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No
you. Go
worries,
ahead,
no worries.
Commissioner Bo-
So basically, I think the plan that you have meets all the requirements. You do a wonderful job of trying to keep your kids safe. I would just hope, being such an innovative institution, it looks like you guys do wonderful stuff, that you might, in your next phase or in your next few phases, use the brilliance of all the people that are around you and maybe come up with a solution so you don't have to constantly try and tell your neighbor to be good neighbors, because all it takes is one incident. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I appreciate that. In fact, the last time I met with one of the dealers and have a good relationship with them, I kindly said to them, if one student gets hit, it's not going to be good for anybody, and we don't want one student to get hit. And so, yeah, they're very responsive, and I think to your point, there's a lot of turnover, and so they have to constantly remind their people. But we have good relationship with those folks, and I think there's a dealer that parks cars north of Artesia behind that storage building, so we remind them too. It's really easy to go around instead of down Dumont, because Dumont's a fun street to go fast on.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. I noticed on the plan that's up on the screen, I see the baseball practice field, the softball field. It's hard to see. Is the baseball field still staying where it is now?
Yeah.
Okay, because on the paper it doesn't look like it's there. So that's why I was like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if he has that on one of the pictures, but our baseball center field is basically the 20-yard line to 20-yard line. It's actually about a 25 or 30-foot high fence.
Yeah.
It has to be high because it's pretty short.
Yeah.
But that stays.
Okay.
That stays there. Yep. No other facility in terms of like its use is impacted. Baseball, softball, tennis.
Okay.
Yep. Because the tennis courts are just left of kind of the top corner of that track right there.
Yeah.
Those all stay as is.
Okay, great. So I heard that new seating, stadium seating is going in, not increasing the capacity for the home side. Is new seating going in on the visitor side?
No, we don't. We will not put seating on the visitor side. The track is right up to the fence of the baseball field.
So then the visitors sit over here and the home sits over there on the
Yeah.
same side?
It depends. Like soccer season with a lighter crowd, parents will often sit on the other side by their on the track.
Oh, okay.
So we've done that with different sports. We'll put temporary bleacher on the track if they want to sit by the soccer team or things like that. And then our tradition is a lot of our parents actually sit in the end zone on lawn chairs. And so you'll notice on the bottom of that plan, one side of the field is actually extended turf. The other side is more of the track surface, and that's where we hope to continue the tradition of some of our fans sitting in lawn chairs at the end of the field. So, yep, you can see that there. Yep.
On the side that says Valley?
No, that's the other side, yeah. That's where
Where the running and the pit is for the jump?
yeah, just behind
That's
that.
where they sit?
A lot of them, we maybe have 10, 15 families that'll sit there with their kids, let their kids run around back there in the
Okay.
track. Yep.
And I probably don't need to ask this, but no high heels coming in there, poking through your stuff, or, I mean, it's an area where you're going to put all these people. So are they going to put poles down from their chairs, or?
No,
do
the
you have a
surface.
concern?
Yeah, the surface that those chairs would go on. If you've ever walked or run on like a track surface, it's a really, really durable
Yeah.
surface. You have to take metal to cut into it really, really hard.
Okay.
And our plan would be to put a tarp down or something anywhere there's going to be a chair or an item on the surface.
Okay, great. So I don't think I have any more questions. So if there's no other questions, we'll, if you'd like to make your comments now.
Yeah, I just have a couple.
Okay.
Just reminding the commission that we are not increasing capacity, and so we feel like we have a good parking and pedestrian plan as is. We hire a full team of security nights of events to help with all of that to make sure safety is the top priority. Also, just note that a good chunk of our parking at a major event like a football game also happens at our middle school, in which case those folks never enter the street as pedestrians. They walk along the sidewalk to get to the football stadium, which is helpful as well. And then finally, we just want to thank you for considering this project. We're excited to get it done in a short time frame. Our project manager assures me that it can happen. But also, we want to be a good citizen in the city, and I understand that the Parks and Rec always struggles with finding space for events, and by putting in this type of surface, it'll allow us to use the field all the time without worried about wear and tear on the surface. Currently, with a natural turf, we can only use it 1 or 2 nights a week. Otherwise, it doesn't stay in good enough shape. So we're excited to partner with the city in the future if they have needs for night or weekend uses or rentals, that we'd be able to accommodate that. Thank you.
That's great news. Thank you. Okay, so any other public comments? Seeing none, I will close the public comments section. So we have 2 items to make a motion on. Is that correct?
At the Planning Commission's pleasure, you can either do 2 separate votes, but it is just one item. If there's a motion to approve the amendment to, or recommend that the council approve the conditional use permit amendment and the precise plan amendment, that can be taken as one or separate. It's up to your pleasure.
Okay. So we entertain motions then?
I'll make a motion to approve it as one.
Second.
Okay, so I heard that we're going to take the 2 actions and combine them. One will be the approval of the conditional use permit to permit a high school stadium under Phase 4. The other is an amendment, a proposal for an existing high school stadium under Phase 4 of the campus master plan of development, including improvements to grandstands, bleachers, field, track, and other hardscape lighting and landscaping areas. It also includes an amendment to the existing campus master plan of the development. Can we
Yes, thank
take
you,
a vote?
Commission. A motion was made by Commissioner Gandhi and a second by Commissioner Byrd to waive full reading of and adopt a resolutions recommending that the city council approve the amendment to the conditional use permit and precise plan. So I'll go ahead and activate the electronic vote. You may go ahead and place your vote. All votes are in. Motion passes by a vote of 4-0. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. So congratulations. I think it's going to be a great improvement over there. I'm ready for football season, so make sure we get a schedule there to come see you guys play. So let's see, the next thing on our agenda is the reports from the Department of Community Development.
Yes, good evening, Vice Chair and members of the Commission. I only have just one minor report this evening, and that is at our June meeting. We will do the Planning Commission reorganization as a result of the reorganization of the City Council earlier in April. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Is that where when you say reorganization, it's where we pick another chair and vice chair and,
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
okay, just making sure.
Yep.
What day is that meeting?
If you give me one moment.
June,
That meeting will
third,
be
4th.
June 5th.
June 5th.
Wednesday, June 5th.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is reports from the Cerritos Planning Commissioners. So we'll start with Commissioner Byrd. Do you have anything you'd like to report?
No, just that my wife, who's an avid pickleball player, I guess we've added a couple of new courts nearby, and everybody's real happy about that. But so thank you for that.
I was going to ask Valley Christian if they had pickleball courts,
I was thinking about that.
but I didn't want it to look like. Okay. Commissioner Polito, do you have any?
Thank you, Vice Chair. Yes, I attended the April 10th mayoral transition, so I wanted to congratulate the new mayor and the mayor pro temp and wish them best of luck on their term. And then wish everyone in May a happy Asia Pacific American Heritage Month. And then today, May 1st, is International Workers' Day, and I wanted to thank our city staff for all the wonderful work that they do, and especially our staff for the Planning Commission. Thank you for always supporting us and doing a good job. Thank you.
Commissioner Gandhi?
Yes, so fortunately, I got to attend the transition as well, and congratulations to Mayor Solanki and Mayor Pro Tem. Other than that, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, so I don't have anything other than congratulations as well to the new mayor and the mayor pro tem. And I think with that, if there's no other comments, we'll adjourn the meeting.